The feverish wheeling and dealing to end the government shutdown now into its 12th day. Both sides suggesting that progress is being made with negotiations underway to reopen the government and raise the debt ceiling. But as of this morning, there is still no deal. ABC's David Curley has the very latest from the White House. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Bianna. You mentioned it. There is some good news. At least they're not calling each other names anymore. They are talking. The president and the Speaker of the House spoke on the phone late yesterday. The bad news, though, no deal to reopen the government or increase the government's ability to borrow.
This morning, the shutdown signs are still up, now a dozen days. But from the president, who isn't budging much, some optimism.
It's a positive development that House Republicans have agreed on the need to avoid the economic consequences of not meeting our country's commitments.
Translation, Republicans now seem ready to increase the country's borrowing power. But the big sticking point is for how long. In a flurry of meetings at the White House, Republicans offered to stave off default for 6 weeks. No deal, because the White House says that means we'll be playing this same game of chicken with the economy right before Thanksgiving and the holiday shopping season.
The president's position on refusing to pay ransom in exchange for Congress fulfilling their responsibility to pay the bills of the United States will not change.
One proposal, a 4-month extension of borrowing power. So why all these meetings and now a suggestion of a deal? The latest polls tell the tale. Our poll shows disapproval of Republicans climbing from 63 to 70%. So they're looking for an out, a deal. And what about the government shutdown? Little movement there, which means little Maddie Major, an 8-year-old, is not getting the experimental treatment that could save her life. One of 400 Americans cut off from medical studies.
To know there could potentially be a cure for her, but because of a stalemate in the government, we can't research those options. It's mind-blowing.
Meanwhile, some states are now paying to open national parks. Others are still padlocked.
There will be talks today between the two sides, Republicans and the White House. Now, there is a bit of a problem. We don't know whether there'll be a deal for both increasing the borrowing limit and reopening the government. And Dan and Bianna, I got to tell you, Republicans are not only split between conservative and more moderates, there's also now a split between Senate Republicans and House Republicans, so their hands a little bit weaker as we try to get a deal maybe next week.